market opens. What do we got? Got some weak zones above us. Weak zones above us. You got a B set up to the upside. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. This is a very bullish thing here. So don't look at this sell signal because that's right before market opens. So there's no point in that. Okay, market, everybody's waiting for the bell to ring right here. So there might have been downside data, but that doesn't mean anything. We do not take trades right before the market opens. All right. So we're going to trade potentially the 5-minute opening range breakout. I have quite a few things on here. Let me just turn off my minor zones. Let me get to my major zones. Oh, I do have my major zones on. Never mind. All right, that's good. And I'm going to change one more thing about here. We're going to go large so we can see this probability scoring on these zones. All right, so we're pumping to the upside. We are pumping to the upside. All right, so we're just waiting out these first, we got about 3 more minutes before we have the opening range. And let me just show you what that looks like. If I just get rid of the Maverick zones, here is your opening range getting settled out here. Here's your top, here's your bottom. The box will expand or contract with it. And then I like to turn on my Maverick zones, which is my auto-drawn support and resistance zones drawn by the Maverick zones. And look, now I know where my next zones are. Okay, and we have a very low score here. Anything less than 90% right here is game for breaking. So we could break this. But you guys know I don't like to get in the first candle. First candle, let the market shake itself out. Let it figure out its life. And if you look, golly, you're heading into all-time highs. This is your all-time highs right here. Okay, drawn by the Maverick zone. So we just got to be careful that we are going to go into all-time highs. There was just news that I saw. So let's see. All right, so what do we got here? We got a 90 score, brick wall. Brick wall. And look how flush we are. Let me turn off the zones real quick. Look how flush we are with the opening range, with the 5-minute opening range. We literally didn't even wick above it. So pretty interesting rejection right there. Let me turn back on our zone so we know what we're dealing with. So we'll keep watching this. We're gonna most likely take a break of the opening range. All right, so we're either going to break this way or we're gonna break this way, or we could stay right here. We'll see. We shall see. But here's your opening range box. Right here. We gotta break to the upside or the downside. So what is oil doing? Let's see what oil is doing. So oil looks like it wants to go to the downside. ES is just stuck between these 2 zones. How cool is it that we know where the zones are and they're scoring? They're pretty equal scoring. Man, oil's pretty bearish. Got a big gap. Your next zone, if we break through this zone right here, the zone is perfectly aligned with the opening range. Isn't that cool? Look at this. There's your opening range. There's your 5-minute opening range. Watch, I'll turn on your zone. It's crazy. But your next major zone is down here. So we might take a short here. Let's see. See what ES is doing. I'm just taking some options trade on another screen here, which is probably that noise you guys just heard. All right. Oh, my options are printing on ES. Got a beautiful buy signal here. Beautiful buy signal. Bright green candle, your strongest upside data candle. All 5 traders are voting bullish across 6 time frames. Price likes to move away from the weaker zone. You got an 80 here and a 62 here. Price likes to move away from the weaker zone. A+ setup to the upside on ES. So this is looking promising. I'm up pretty good on my options here. Okay. Oil, should we take a tester? Here, I gotta log out of this account here. Hang on one second, guys. All right, so if you see, oh, here we go. I'm going to get into 5 micros of oil. We are trading across 5 accounts. Ideally, I would be targeting the next zone, which is right here, auto drawn by the Maverick zones, and then we'll go through the trade. But so why are we in this trade? All 5 traders are bearish across 6 time frames. If I put you in the room with 5 other traders who all had a completely different style, if they were all voting bearish across 6 time frames, would you go long? Probably not, right? We just had the opening range breakout signal here. We're breaking out of the opening range, the 5-minute opening range. We're coming out of not only the opening range, but look at this. The opening range is see the opening range, and then I turn on the zones. It's right in a zone. Okay. All right. A+ setup from the Ultimate Trading Assistant. This comes in the Ultimate Edge bundle. Going through our entire checklist to see, do we even have a setup? And if we do have a setup, what's the grade? And right now it's giving us an A+ setup to the downside. Okay, A+ setup to the downside right here. Again, all 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. Hot pink candles. Your Maverick AI Pro colors your candles to the data, not to price and direction. So bright green is your strongest upside data candle, came right into the zone, auto drawn by the Maverick zones. And then hot pink, if you see pink, it will most likely sink. Pink is your strongest downside data candle. Downside data candle. This is like looking, we're running a formula to see underneath the hood. Okay, beautiful. Guys, I would love for this thing to go for 200 bucks. Why 200 bucks? Because we're trade copying 5 accounts. So, okay, whoops. So $200 trade times 5 prop firm accounts, that is a $1,000 day. Not high stress, just, you know, we're just looking for a $200 move, okay? $200 move. The Maverick Zones got launched about 2 weeks ago. It is still there's a few spots left at the 50% off, and I'll put the links in the description below. It auto draws your support and resistance zones. How cool is that? You don't even have to draw them anymore, and then it gives you probability score of it holding or breaking. Okay, hot pink candle. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Pink is your strongest downside data candle. Okay, so if we get to, ideally, I'd like to target this next zone, but I'm okay with closing it out for, you know, 200 bucks. Okay, $200 times 5 prop accounts, it's $1,000. Okay, and when I post this trade, I'll put the P&L on the upper right-hand corner or lower right corner. All right, so right now, you know, $150 up, 750 bucks, right? First minute and last minute of a 5-minute candle, I sit on my hands. First minute and last minute of a 5-minute candle, I sit on my hands. Usually, really like the first minute and a half. First minute and a half. Because the crazy misdirection, the first minute and the last minute of a 5-minute candle, okay? All right, so this is stress-free trading, right? Small risk, high reward. Price likes to move away from the stronger zone. Okay, this is a level-to-level game. Hot pink candles, we see what's underneath the hood. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. We got our opening range breakout signal from the Maverick orb. All 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames. Okay, and we have an A+ setup to the downside on the Maverick radar. A+ setup. How cool is it if you had a trading assistant on your screen like the Maverick radar, the Maverick radar. There we go. Okay. Let's let it go a little bit past. Got to pay for commissions. Keep pushing. Let me get rid of this circle there so you can see it. Okay. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. All right, there you go. 210 bucks. There we go. Okay. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right, so listen, if you want clear vision on your chart, look, and now, so what did we just do? Did about $1,000, a little bit over $1,000. But look, now you have a weak zone. The Maverick Zones is saying, hey, bud, you only have a 40% chance of this holding. Anything less than 90% is absolutely fair game for breaking, okay? And look, you're at a 40%. This is a low score, okay? Price likes to move away from the higher score. So do I think that we're going to tap this? We have a high probability, but look, like this is what I love. We just go for 200 bucks and we just had ourselves $1,000 a day right there, okay? This is clear vision. This is edge, folks. If you want edge in the market, this is what edge is. The Maverick orb is drawing your opening range breakout, right? Comes in the, we give you 10 indicators in this bundle, okay? There's your opening range right here. It broke. You got the signal. You had hot pink candles. If you see pink, it will most likely sink. Pink is your strongest downside data candle. All 5 traders, these are algorithms, but all 5 traders are voting bearish across 6 time frames, and you have an A+ setup to the downside. The ultimate trading assistant, the Maverick radar, is giving you an A+ setup to the downside. You have all the confidence in the world, and okay, if you're smart enough to go and grab the Maverick zones at 50% off, you know where your zones are. So even if you retrace a little bit up here and you get stuck in between, you know exactly where your zones are. And you know the scoring. You have a 65% chance of holding here and a 40% chance of holding down here. Most likely, price is going to continue to the downside. Now, anything can happen at any time, and we do have news coming up in 11 minutes. But my point is that this is edge. This is clear vision, okay? So if you want clear vision, if you want edge in the market, if you want to trade with 5 other traders, they're algorithms, but if you want to trade with 5 other traders and know where they're at, if you want to know where there's A+ setups, come check us out, all right? You just saw us do $1,000, a little bit over $1,000 a day, all right? So come check us out. We would love, love, love to help you crush it. Not financial advice, do your own research, never any guarantees in any market, and I'll put all the links in the description below. MaverickIndicators.com. That's MaverickIndicators.com.